Welcome back to the 0 to 6 Figure series. This is a series in which I showcase my portfolio to you, show you which assets I'm buying, selling, what I'm accumulating. And in this episode, we're going to talk about the new asset that I've added, how things are looking at the moment. We'll talk a little bit about the current market, some of the different apps and coins that I'm looking at as well. So without further ado, let's basically jump straight into it. The current portfolio is looking pretty healthy. We are currently at $23,500, which is lovely to see. And I think really you can get the true extent of how things have been over the last week or so just by looking at the 7-day chart. I mean, the 7-day gain for some of these assets is incredible. 41% for Gearbox, 52% for Lyra, 81% for the latest asset that we've added, Deuce, which we actually talked about in the last episode. So that's why it's really important that you guys watch on time, because things change quickly. So yeah, let's talk about this first. So in the last episode, we talked about Deuce, we talked about Simio and kind of some of the features around it and why I was interested in this token. And we pulled the trigger with it. And thankfully, in the last few days, actually, in fact, even today, Deuce has actually pumped 32%. If you actually look at the chart, I mean, even like a week ago, it was still $30. And if we go even further back, I believe it was even lower than that. Yeah, so literally the last 1 month has been up only. Why? Well, we actually talked about it in the last episode. You can actually migrate Deuce to the Sim token, which is the Simio project, which is this new intent-based protocol that has come out. There's a variety of front ends that are built on top of it with the likes of Pair Protocol and Intent X, which is this perpetual exchange where you can trade, a variety of altcoins and you trade perps with them. And essentially the idea is that part of the protocol revenue from these different apps go directly to Simio, because that's the kind of base layer where this intent-based architecture kind of comes from. I will leave a link in the description below from Blockmates, who basically had a lovely talk with 563 DeFi and Grant. So I'll leave that in the description below, but go and check that out to really get a good understanding of what intents are and some of the projects building around it. So that's why Simio caught my eye. That's why I bought Deuce, I should say. I've actually migrated it, so mine is kind of locked right now. I don't have access to it. The migration is still ongoing, but will be closed soon. So just please bear that in mind. So that's the thesis there. I think by the time the migration closes, Deuce is going to crash hard. So that's just my prediction anyway. I think all of this price action is just purely because of the Sim token, which is, I believe it's potentially coming Q1. Don't quote me on that for sure. So obviously we'll have to change this. This Deuce will eventually become Sim when the token comes out. But yeah, you can see, I've got basically a $1,700 allocation. I only allocated 1,000 to begin with, approximately. But that's pretty much where we are at the moment. And we use some USDC for that as well. In terms of like everything else that's going on, it's nice to see that the alts are running still. Lyra V2 has, made Lyra, just continue to just pump upwards. Gearbox V3 is coming out, so likewise, these narratives have really helped these two tokens here. Redacted with all the Pyrex updates is coming out. We've got Pyrex ETH potentially coming very, very soon. So that's also helped a lot there. I believe Chainlink, Arbitrum are fairly similar price. They haven't changed too much. FXS has done fairly decent. I think a lot of the talk nowadays has been around the new lending mechanism with BAM, which is meant to be pretty interesting. And then ETH, which has actually done a little bit. It's done pretty well. We're actually up massively on our ETH position because we were farming and using a variety of different DeFi protocols. So we've actually managed to make a lot of money on ETH so far, which is really good to see. And we still have USDC. Remember, I will use this USDC. It's not going to just sit here forever. This USDC, this 5,000 USDC could end up being 10, 15, 20,000 if we pick the right alt with it. So this is really, really important. And this can really help to supercharge our portfolio. But we've got to make sure that we're buying the right thing at the right time. I mean, if you look at the chart, things are looking very good at the moment. 20% exposure to USDC, 15% ETH, 10% FXS, 10% ARB. overall, things are looking okay around here. I mean, the portfolio still needs a bit of work. I'm still not exposed to a few things. For example, the Bitcoin ecosystem. I'm not exposed to AI. I'm not exposed to gaming. And these are sectors that have performed really, really well. So, yes, DeFi is my forte, but, I still feel a bit of FOMO from time to time. But, you got to think, what are your strong points really? And, that's why I'm allocated towards that. So that's pretty much where we are in terms of that. Let's look at Bitcoin, which managed to surpass 44,000. That's been the talk of the last week, really going from 37,000 to 44,000 just a matter of days. The question is, how long will it continue to do so? We're seeing Bitcoin dominance reach local highs basically from May 21. So like almost two and a half plus years where we've never seen Bitcoin dominance this high. The question is, how high is it going to go? I mean, 70% seems unlikely, especially now because we have so many more altcoins that have so much more value capture. And so I think that's fairly unlikely. But, is it going to go to, potentially 60%, or are we kind of reaching a limit here? One question I have really is, if alts were to dump, or Bitcoin were to dump, would alts dump a lot more than Bitcoin, and would that lead to the dominance continuing to go up a little bit? But either way, I think we're certainly reaching parts where you'd like to think, really, how long can this continue to go on for? So yeah, maybe we get to 60%, but something that I will be looking at from time to time, just to see how things are going. Bitcoin ecosystem, however, especially with ordinals, has been going crazy. Audi has been going absolutely nuts, up 679% in the last 1 month. I mean, most of this price action happened just in the last few days, really. So ordinals, especially since Bitcoin passed that 40,000 mark, absolutely crazy. More crazy than that is Mubi, which is up basically 15x in the last 1 month, which again is absolutely nuts. It's still fairly reasonable market cap, but to be honest, I don't actually know too much about how these ordinal BRC tokens work. So this isn't something that I'm going to be touching anytime soon, but I think it has definitely woken my eyes up to the Bitcoin ecosystem, which is something that I personally dismissed beforehand, just because I thought it's just too new. And when I kind of had a look into some of the ordinal stuff, I just wasn't really interested in what it was offering. However, looks like trading wise, I mean, tech wise, whatever, but trading wise is certainly money to be made. Otherwise, other tokens like Celestia have been performing really well, reached $10 now. So this is something that caught me by surprise as well. I didn't think that it would actually run this far. 10 billion market cap, 1.5 bill circulating market cap. I mean, this is higher than some L1s and L2s now. We're talking about Celestia being in the top 50, higher FTV than Optimism and Arbitrum. I know Celestia itself isn't a layer 2 chain. It is a data availability layer. But yeah, this is a pretty crazy run. An Aptos-like run, to be honest. And yeah, definitely caught me by surprise. So yeah, that's pretty much where we are right now. What am I looking to do at the moment? Well, actually, I'm looking at hedging fairly soon. I think you could either take profits, you could either hedge with some options, or use some other derivatives if you want. Maybe you could cash into stables for a little while. Personally, that's something that I'm looking into doing. And part of the reason is just because the price action has been just incredible for the last couple of months now, actually. And I just wonder kind of how long this is going to go for. Yes, I think most of this is partly due to the Bitcoin ETF, which is just a matter of a couple of weeks now, really a few weeks away. So I do wonder if part of what's going on right now is just that being front run. So I am being a little bit more cautious now. I'm not really looking to deploy into the highest risk altcoin right now. I mean, the time to do that was 2 months ago. So yeah, we're just waiting for now. Let's see what happens. I will likely stable up a little bit, or kind of hedge myself a little bit. So I'll keep you updated with that. And then we'll see what happens. But I think in the long term, we're going to keep adding to the portfolio. We want to keep adding high quality altcoins that we think are going to outperform the market and outperform Bitcoin and ETH especially. because that's essentially how we're going to forex this portfolio to get to that 100,000 mark. So yeah, that's pretty much where we are. I'm still farming a lot on Arbitrum. Arbitrum season is still ongoing right now, so expect to see some good profits there fairly soon. So yeah, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. That's all we've got today, and we'll be back with plenty more content in the near future.